Hello and welcome to this video which will outline some of the functionality provided by the Oracle Cloud Native Environment configuration file. If you'd like information about how to install it, please refer to the install walkthrough video covered previously in this series. So let's continue, and I'll briefly outline what this video covers by starting with what the configuration file is and how to use it, summarize how the install process can be streamlined by using a configuration file, outline some of the other use cases for the configuration file. Oracle Cloud Native Environment 1.4 introduced the ability to use a configuration file, thereby simplifying the process of creating and managing a deployed environment and associated modules. It is used from the Platform Command Line Interface, or CLI, via the OLCNE CTL command. While OLCNE CTL can be used to configure many more options than are outlined here, covering those use cases is not addressed in this video and will be covered in a future video. So with that in mind, let's get started with our whistle-stop tour of how to use a configuration file. We'll start out by highlighting some of the configuration file prerequisites to be aware of. The configuration file must comply to a predetermined format. The configuration file must be a valid YAML file. It must also have a file extension of either .yaml or .yml. The basic format within the file must be as shown on the screen. This means that you can either create your own YAML-based configuration file, or you can use the Platform CLI to create a skeleton template for you and then edit it yourself. If you use the OLCNE CTL template command to create a configuration file, it will create a file which will be seeded with some generic configuration options to help you get started. However, please be aware that it is not specific to your current install. The resultant YAML file is created in the local directory where you invoked the OLCNE CTL template command. As mentioned earlier, it will need to be edited to suit your environment. Here we see an example of a configuration file that could be used to create a simple 2-node cluster deployment. In this instance, you would need to edit the following fields to match your specific installation details: the environment name, API-server, the CA:*cert key path, the node cert path, the node key path, the master nodes, the worker nodes, the external IP CA:*cert key path, the external IP TLS certificate path, the external IP TLS key path. So that covers creating and editing the configuration file, but how is it used to create an environment and deploy Kubernetes into it? Well, start by logging onto the operator node and execute the OLCNE CTL environment create command together with the --config-file path to your config file option to create the services detailed in the configuration file. Once this command completes, the next step is to invoke the OLCNE CTL module create --config-file path to your configuration file command to create the modules or module defined in the configuration file. When that completes, validate that the module or modules are able to be installed on your nodes by using this command: OLCNE CTL module validate --config-file path to your configuration file. The last step remaining is to install the module or modules using the OLCNE CTL module install --config-file path to your configuration files command. Once that has completed successfully, you can validate everything as installed by using the OLCNE CTL module instances --config-file path to config file command. If everything proceeded successfully, you should see something very similar to the output shown on the screen. In our instance, this was for the 2-node install. Hopefully you would agree that this is much simpler than the process required for versions prior to 1.4. However, don't think that's all that the configuration file can be used for. It can also be used for other administrative tasks on your store, which are outlined briefly now. However, for the full details, please refer to the documentation. It can be used to add modules or environments, for example, adding a Helm module. It can be used to scale a cluster, adding or removing nodes to a Kubernetes cluster. It can be used to update or upgrade the deployed module. This is equivalent to manually executing the DNF or yum commands. Once again, please refer to the documentation for more details. Then last but not least, the configuration file can be used to completely uninstall. Start with uninstalling the modules and then the environment. I hope this introduction to using a configuration file to create an environment and then to install Kubernetes into it has whetted your appetite to investigate this functionality further for yourself. So on that note, I'd like to thank you very much for watching, and I hope you enjoy using Oracle Cloud Native Environment. Please check our additional information on Oracle Cloud Native Environment in the Oracle documentation or Oracle Linux Learning Library.